Tony, and this poem is called The Disrobing. I was in a monastery when I was 14. I wanted to be a monk, and so I left my home in Kansas and went to a Capuchin Franciscan monastery and lived with the monks for 4 years, and then I went to a Benedictine monastery for my 5th year of philosophy. They handed me a rule book and said these are the rules of the monastery, but regrettably they were all written in Latin. So it took me a while to get the gist of following the monks' rules, but I did. And then when I was 19, I decided I didn't want to be a monk anymore. I wanted to get married and have a family, and we weren't allowed to do that in the Roman Catholic Church. They're losing a lot of good people because of that law. And I went to Georgetown and met my wife, who was a nun. Her name was Sister Jolene, and she had decided she was getting her dispensation from her vows, so monk meets nun. And that was at Georgetown University, and Bill Clinton was 2 classes ahead of me. We were both in the School of Foreign Service, and the difference is between me and him is I inhaled it, he did not. And he became president, I became a poet. But this is about leaving, because when I wanted to leave, I asked the abbot for permission, and he said, "You're really going to regret this decision," which made that decision all the harder for someone at 19. And he said, "You're going to give all this up, you're going to go to the world, you're going to lose your faith." And I did lose a lot of that faith. But you get older and you learn to adapt and to get a new faith. And this is what this is about. The Disrobing. Deep within monastic walls, he wore his thick beliefs like monk's robes, scratchy and warm. They were worn. The young rebel inside decided to disrobe. Warned, he did not listen. He tossed off his beliefs like heavy blankets. The honesty that stripped him naked became his single piece of clothing. He was free to choose new or none, but now he is older. Winds blow colder. He can barely remember how warm he used to feel. And the following poem is called Meridians, and it was just a funky poem I wrote one morning about 5 o'clock, sitting on my deck and looking at the mountains, and kind of a dialogue between my right brain and my left brain, between those different voices in one's head, not schizophrenic voices, but just different points of view, and this and that. I've never said that before. Delete. It's not too early to write a poem. Sun shines. I woke up only an hour ago. Birds feed. I breakfast on a bowl of words. Breezes stir. Anger and cold angst inside my chest. Coffee warms. Okay, I'm feeling better now. What gives, I take. The morning's moistness smacks me on the back. Wake up before the prime is past and meridians untangle one feeling strand at a time. Quit upbraiding yourself for being alive. All those emotional diagonals and all those other lines converge in love somewhere on the bottom of my feet. And this last poem is called Tom's House. Betsy and I have been spending the last 2 winters in Mexico, and in particular we live in the Central Highlands in central Mexico, a little town called Guanajuato. It's about 7,000 feet high. It's lovely there. And last year I met this American, this expat, who was truly the most miserable man I've ever met in my life. And I had to see him several times, and he was just very negative. He did not like living there. He didn't like the sun. He didn't like the culture. I don't know why he lived there, but every time I saw him, he really rained on my parade. And I went to his house one time, and he invited Betsy and I over for breakfast, and it was just a dismal experience. And I wrote this poem in his honor, and he does not know I wrote this poem. So I do want to share it because it makes me feel real good. Tom's house. Your skinny house, as thin as you are, with its sallow green complexion. Your ground floor is dark. Overgrown anger pricks those who enter. A second floor for guests remains unfinished. Outside chickens scratch, something smells. Your bedroom on the third floor, shared by a cat who lives your solitary life under covers. Floor number 4 has potential. Exposed wood shelters a kitchen where you ply your culinary craft alone. I climb stairs to the rooftop terrace. Up there live brilliant light and glorious colors, but you are not there.